I'm in the middle of fan fucking fiction. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be reviewing Scream 5. If you haven't, make sure you check out my Scream series playlist where I review the entire Scream franchise. I will also have my Scream 6 review up soon, as well as ranking every Scream movie and ranking the Ghostface killers. Now, after my less than stellar experience with Scream 4, I wasn't very excited for Scream 5, and it is actually the only Scream movie that I did not see in theaters. I was just kind of like, man, I'll watch it when it, comes to streaming or whatever. And I am happy to say that I was pleasantly surprised with how much I really enjoyed Scream 5. Much better experience than I had with Scream 4. I remember literally being just so shocked how much I liked this movie. Because my experience with Scream 4 wasn't very good. Movies are a funny thing. For one, we can all just watch the exact same movie and walk away with completely different experiences and interpretations. I was really hard on Scream 4 regarding my dislike of the characters, rightfully so. In my humble opinion, I really did not enjoy those new characters. So we get here to Scream 5 and we are introduced to a new teen group of characters. We have Tara, played by Jenna Ortega, and her group of friends, Amber, Wes, Liv, and Randy's descendants, twins Mindy and Chad. Now, I don't particularly like any of these characters. However, I enjoyed them amongst the story. I enjoyed them definitely way more than the teens in Scream 4. So let's start with the head of the group, the one teen who is the center, Tara. Now, I'm not a person that is on a Jenna Ortega train. I enjoy her, talented, beautiful young lady, but I can't recall ever really being blown away by anything she's done or just on the Jenna Ortega train. For me, I love the opening sequence with Tara and Ghostface. I really enjoyed that opening. That attack on Tara felt so brutal. They effed her up, child. I did like that Tara just, hung up the phone on Ghostface instead of announcing that she was hanging up. That's so minor and nitpicky, but y'all, I cannot stand when Ghostface calls folks and they be like, I'm hanging up. Bitch, just hang up the phone. Why you gotta say I'm hanging up? He'd be like, if you hang up, I'll cut your throat. Just hang up. But Tara as a character throughout Scream 5, for me, honestly, forgettable, boring, no personality, not a bad character. She's fine in amongst the story, but not particularly enjoyable to follow, but fine. Now, as far as the group, Amber, Wes, Liv, and Randy's descendants, Wes is boring, very blah, never really adds anything. I really hated his haircut. That's nitpicky. The most boring and dull characters in the Scream universe for me is a toss-up between Jill and Wes. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen Scream 4, but up until Jill is revealed as Ghostface, she is extremely lackluster and forgettable as a character. Wes as well, he wasn't giving me anything at all. Honestly, as a group, the teens here weren't giving me anything of substance. When I think about the random conversations and stuff that the teen characters have in Scream, I was drawn in. I was very into following these characters. They were very enjoyable and entertaining. The conversation outside of the school after Casey and her boyfriend are killed and they're talking about, did they ask you if you hunt? How come they didn't ask me if I hunt? Did you really leave her liver in the mailbox? Because I heard you left her liver in the mailbox. Just all those little things that they would say, they just really brought those characters in that script to life. The whole, it takes a man to do something like that. Anytime the teens in Scream 5 were talking and having conversations, for me personally, it was meh, fine, but let's get to the killing. Let's just get to it. When they're at the pool hall in particular, I was so bored. I was just kind of what are we doing? I was over everybody. That grown behind man hanging out outside of freaking high school. That character felt really forced and unnecessary. Like, we need somebody to be connected to the original murder, so let's throw this jerk in. Like, that's what it felt like. Look, I enjoyed this movie, but some questionable writing here. When old boy is like, you want a real drink or you want to stay at the kids' table? That don't even make sense, bro. You're trying to get with the girl at the kids' table. So what are you even talking about? I really commend the casting team for the first few Scream movies. Starting at Scream 4, I don't know what the casting department is doing. I'm sorry, but I don't. Or maybe it's the writers, the characters that the writers is coming up with. I don't know, but one or the other ain't working. Liv is fine, just here to get killed off. She serves her purpose. I really enjoyed her scene with Mindy at the party towards the end when she's looking for Chad. I felt pretty mad about Mindy and Chad, honestly, as characters. I pretty much only cared about them because of their connection to Randy, who I love. The new characters were, while tolerable, really didn't carry the movie like I needed them to. I just wasn't invested. I wasn't blown away. I wasn't like, wow, these are characters that I want to take over the franchise. I want to follow. And I know that I'm not being critical or too hard on these characters that we get, because I even enjoy the ditzy co-ed girls from Scream 2, child. Like, the bar ain't too high. Like, I'm giving y'all a chance. But there really wasn't anything these characters did or said to make me be like, oh, I like this character. Oh, that was good. But they were all fine. Like I said, I didn't like them, but I didn't dislike them. One thing that irked me and I'm confused about, y'all, why they keep disrespecting Stu? That is just going over my head. Everybody keeps forgetting about Stu and only remembers or knows Billy Loomis. And that really confuses me. The trivia question with Tara at the top of the movie, she doesn't know Stu when Sam is telling her boyfriend about the murders. Now, as far as the whodunit aspect of Scream 5, I think it was decent. Now, I say decent because I called the killers literally immediately. I knew it was the damn boyfriend. It was so freaking obvious. Being all caring and supportive, insisting on going back to Woodsboro with Sam, claiming to not know anything about the stab movies. But I don't even hold the whodunit aspect against the movie, because I called the killers in the very first movie. But it was a lot more fun going on that ride. I also called it that Amber was the killer. The second we see Amber, and she's being super over the top protective of Tara, I was like, she's Ghostface. That's the killer. Now, I say it was decent whodunit though, because they did make me question myself. But I questioned myself because I gave the writers way too much credit. Because I felt like it was so obvious that Richie was the killer. I started second guessing myself, like, there's no way they're going to make this obvious. They're not going to make it this predictable. But yeah, they did. They made it that predictable. The proverbial group gets together and goes over who could be a suspect. This irks me at this point. At this point in the franchise, this irks me because we don't do anything. It irked me so badly when Sam goes to Dewey for help and then ignores his motherfucking help. Why are you here? Dewey literally calls it that Richie is the killer, and Sam doesn't bat an eye, flinch, look at him sideways, squint her eyes. Like, what is the point of the suspects conversation when we literally don't do ish, but have the conversation? We are not doing anything with the information, so why even seek it? We're not doing nothing with it, and that irks me. We're tossing out who could be a subject, but not taking it seriously. We ask Dewey for his help and expertise, but when he says it's always the love interest, we just toss that to the wayside. Why would I go to the doctor and complain that my hand is burning? And when the doctor says your hand is on fire, I don't put the fire out. I just walk out the damn doctor's office. Now that's pretty much what Sam does when she goes to do it for help. Why would you do that? And the thing that really blows my mind is the fact that Tara ain't really know this nigga. They weren't dating, Sam. They weren't dating for like 5 years or something. It was like 6 months. And speaking of Sam, another character I don't particularly like nor dislike though. Y'all, is it just me? It's just me. I'm alone on the island. I wasn't blown away by Sam. I wasn't even rooting for her, honestly. Sam just didn't move me, but she was fine. I really like Dewey here. He has always been a fan favorite for me personally, but as much as I love Dewey, the character, I feel like the character for me is the best that they have done this character here in Scream 5. Dewey in Scream 5 is complex and interesting. It is an amazing performance. Now, we got to come to terms with the fact, though, that Dewey be useless. Dewey be so useless, bro. Dewey still can't shoot. All these years later, Dewey still can't shoot. When those elevator doors open at the hospital, Dewey should have had a clear shot to shoot the killer in the head. That should have been the headshot and the movie should have been over. But y'all, why after Sam and Richie seek out Dewey, he calls Sydney and says, "This one feels different." Excuse me, sir, what feels different? You ain't even in the ish yet. I just thought that was crazy. Like, what feels different, Dewey? You just been sitting at home. They just came and talked to you for 20 minutes. But y'all, the hospital scene, first of all, Tara was messed up. You would have thought baby was dropped off a cliff how bad she was messed up. She was in a wheelchair. I felt so bad when Ghostface went after her in a hospital. Now, I know this is a small town, but what hospital is empty like this? We ain't got no candy stripers. We ain't got no nurse, patients. We ain't got no maintenance man, no janitor. Ain't nobody fixing a light in the hallway. I mean, like, nobody is here, child. I would have loved to see Ghostface just slicing through niggas, cutting through folks in the hallway to get to Tara. Mowing folks down to get to Dewey or something. We could have threw folks in here. Make it more believable. Anything other than this entire floor of the hospital being empty. Tara is not Beyonce. She's not the president. I do not buy her having an entire floor of a hospital. Y'all, when Dewey died, on my first watch, I literally turned the movie off. I showed it. I was so upset. They made sure we knew he was dead this time. But it was a good scene. I love the "it's an honor." But y'all, they F Dewey up. They F Dewey up. They was like, y'all ain't finna see him. I rolled out on the stretch at the end of this movie. They wanted us to know Dewey was dead. But this scene also pushed me even more to be like Richie the killer. Because why he ain't run over to help? Sam focused on helping her sister, but Richie could have helped Dewey, child. I will say though, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but of all the legacy characters, I think we should have killed Gail in Scream 5 instead of Dewey. Always loved Gail. But I'm not sure why she's the one we're keeping around, especially with what they did with Dewey's character here, versus the redundant nature of Gail's character. We still have badass Sydney. With Gail, there's just no growth or evolution for me. The worst kill of Scream 5 for me was Wes. The Deputy Judy kill irked me because as sheriff, baby, where is your gun? Period. I don't care if you off duty. I don't care if you in the shower. You ain't gonna be without your gun when there's a motherfucking killer on the loose and you sheriff. Also, you mean to tell me in this small town in broad daylight on her front lawn, nobody don't hear or see the sheriff being murdered? She was screaming at the top of her lungs. She ain't got a nosy neighbor. Ain't no old lady looking out her window. West scene was dragged out. Way too many fake out jump scares. I was just like, y'all hurry up and kill him. Like, just hurry up and die already. So Since there is always a teen party in the middle of a murder spree, we have a teen party in the middle of a murder spree. Sam decides that she is going to take Tara and get the heck up out of Woodsboro, as if she is just so smart, so much smarter than everyone else, but you still got Richie right here. Wendy and Hayla goes missing. It is so painfully obvious that Richie took a child. So we head over to Amber's to get Tara's spare inhaler, which is where this party is going on. Sydney put a tracker on the car, so her and Gail are headed to them, but they were so far behind them. Of course, they know that wherever the sisters are, that is where the killer will be, and they want to, get the killer for Dewey. Sydney recognizes the address and calls Sam to tell her that they are at Stu Macher's house. I did enjoy this element of being back at Stu's house. I enjoyed the shot when Sam is on the phone in the doorway, Mindy watching her uncle's part in Stab and having the exact same situation happening with the killer behind Mindy. I really enjoyed that. I love the way they have certain just callbacks to previous Scream movies, but it works. But baby, Chad, as a descendant of Randy, should have known better. You knew this was a trap. Now, the Ghostface reveal, well, not a shock. And even if you didn't call Richie from the top, you should have been thinking, now, why would Richie want a beer? Richie was ready to drive off minutes ago and did not want to come to Amber's, but now he has time for a beer. Suspicious. Richie as a character and as Ghostface, for me, kind of meh. Borderline lackluster character as we're following him throughout the movie, but I actually loved the motive. I love the commentary on toxic fandom. So you telling me I'm in the middle of fan fucking fiction? I love the scene where Richie and Amber give their speech on why they're doing all of this. Now, it's not that I'm not sold on Richie or that I don't buy him as Ghostface, like how I just didn't buy Jill as Ghostface. And Richie, like I said, he was fine. I just wasn't blown away by his character. I always love how things ramp up and Ghostface, is revealed. When Ghostface is revealed and Ghostface can reveal their true face and go batshit crazy. But for the fifth installment, the fifth go round with this, they just didn't bring it how I would have liked. Still enjoyed it. Now, I will say though, Amber, fine throughout, fine character, but once she's revealed as Ghostface, I really enjoyed her. Now, same issue as Jill being Ghostface. Well, one of the issues, I don't buy that this small, petite built person doing the kills that she did. There is no way she is strong enough to do what went down in the scene with Dewey's kill. And she tells us that she is the one who killed him. And of course, we saw Richie in the scene, so we know she did the kill. But I actually really, really enjoyed Amber's performance. From the moment Amber is revealed, when she pulls out the gun, I loved Amber versus Gail versus Sydney. I would have preferred if Gail died instead of Dewey, and it was Amber versus Dewey versus Sydney. But whatever. But man, I thoroughly enjoyed Amber once she is revealed as Ghostface up until her death. And just the whole play on the toxic fandom commentary. It's not my fault. It was the message boards. I was radicalized. Like, I just freaking love it. I feel like it is just so brilliantly done in this movie. Personally, Scream 5 feels a lot truer to form than Scream 4, in my humble opinion. The new characters, while not anything to write home about, are not as grossly uninteresting as Scream 4. It's just unenjoyable. And out of all the Scream movies, I felt that these kills were particularly brutal. Like, they felt mean. Like, they felt savage. I actually flinched a few times when folks were getting stabbed, child. I feel like with this movie, they stuck to that Scream formula, but also gave us something new and gave us a real statement. The motive and the third act ramps up my enjoyment of Scream 5, while Scream 4 ends with that ridiculous hospital scene, and I end up just left with a bad taste in my mouth once that movie ends. The way Scream 5 ends with Sam, Billy's daughter, going completely off the rails and demolishing Richie, child, like a serial killer. Now, while I didn't care for the whole I'm creating a new rule, don't F with a serial killer's daughter, I don't know. Kind of lame. I wasn't feeling it. It didn't work for me. It didn't hit. But I can appreciate the sentiment. I feel like when a movie ends, that final climactic ending, the feeling you're left with once a movie ends, I feel like it really impacts your overall experience. You know, the way you walk out of the movie. And for me, Scream 5 ends on a high, and I walked out a lot more entertained than Scream 4. Thank you so much for watching the video and for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.